Hi and welcome back to fraction division. In the last video we learned how to model division with, we learned how to do fraction division with modeling, I should say. But modeling is not the only way we know how to divide fractions. We can also use algebraic equations to divide fractions. And when we do that, we are going to need to find the reciprocal of fractions. To find the reciprocal of a fraction, you flip the numerator and the denominator. For example, the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. The reciprocal of 1/6 would be 6/1. And now 6/1, that's the same thing as the number 6 wholes. 6/1 is 6 wholes. The reciprocal of 8. Well, I know that the whole number 8, to write it as a fraction, we write 8 over the denominator of 1. So the reciprocal of 8 would be 1/8. And the reciprocal of 11/4 is 4/11. So that's important to know what the reciprocal is. So when we divide fractions, we're going to be multiplying something by the reciprocal. We're going to be multiplying the first fraction by the reciprocal. So just something that I'd like to point out, multiplicative inverses are two reciprocals whose product is 1. So what do I mean by that? I mean that when you have two reciprocals, let's do 2/3 and 3/2. When you multiply reciprocals together, the product will always be 1. Your answer will always be 1. 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 2 is 6. But if I simplify, 6 out of 6, that's the same thing as 1 whole. And you will get that same answer no matter what reciprocals you multiply together. They're called multiplicative inverses. Okay, so how do we divide fractions without modeling? We use SIR. What does SIR stand for? It stands for same, inverse, and finally the R word, you guessed it, is reciprocal. Reciprocal. So instead of modeling, you can also multiply by the reciprocal. So 4/5 divided by 2/3, well, we can use SIR. S-I-R. S stands for same because the first fraction stays the same. I stands for inverse. The inverse of division is multiplication. And then R is reciprocal. The reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. So now I can multiply. I'm multiplying this first fraction, 4/5, by the reciprocal. So 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 2 is 10. So my answer is 12/10. But we can simplify this. I can divide this by 2, and I would get 6/5. That is my answer. If you would like to write it as a mixed number, you can do that as well. It would be 1 and 1/5. So either 6/5 or 1 and 1/5, both of those answers are acceptable. So when we divide fractions, we want to multiply by the reciprocal. Let's do one more. Same, inverse, reciprocal. So instead of 1/3 divided by 8/7, we are going to take that 1/3 and multiply it by the reciprocal, which would be 7/8. When we multiply that, we get 7/24. And this fraction cannot be simplified. So that is my answer. I hope this helps. Stay tuned for the next video.